Okay, Datuk, thank you so much for agreeing to interview with us today. So maybe as a start, Datuk, maybe you can talk about PNS. What is PNS all about, and how do you envision PNS?
PNS is a company which is owned by the Ministry of Finance. We have a basically mandate in encouraging businesses or developing businesses in Malaysia. And at the current moment, there are certain sectors that we are involved in, or certain things that we are doing. I think one of the main things that we are doing is encouraging people to do business via our franchise activity. In order to support the franchise activity, we also have our property segment, which is also there to support the franchise activities by acquiring properties for the franchisees and franchisors. We have some allocations of funds which we allocate for equity investments. And these equity investments not only involve in franchise industries, but also non-franchise. Mainly to look at our participating, Bumi participation in the industry per se, with the intention of supporting them at the end of the day in companies trying to go for listing. End game is listing.
Maybe we can shed some light. Is PNS a self-sustaining fund, a body, or do you receive support from the government?
Well, PNS has been established for quite some time, and we've always been a company which is self-sustainable, despite having maybe a double or triple bottom strategy. The end game is still to make money. And therefore, whatever we do, we have to ensure that returns are there for us, that we have to generate returns to support the industry per se, or the investments that we do, or the financing that we do, or the procurements that we do in terms of property.
Now, let's go to franchise business. How mature is the franchising business in Malaysia at the moment?
I guess people always say that we are very young in terms of franchise in Malaysia. But I guess in terms of maturity, we should be considered matured enough, because I know for a fact that we have more than 50 companies who have ventured overseas in expanding their business. And that to me is maturity, whereby you're able to go abroad, expand to more than 60 countries with more than 2,000 outlets overseas. That's mature. But the idea is, how do we get more people expanding overseas? That's another question. And that's how we're going to develop strengthen the players in the industry, so that they look at other opportunities, not only in Malaysia, but also abroad.
Now, with all the franchising business going nationwide, I'm sure they've been opening many stores. Are these businesses or franchisee under your stable able to record double-digit same-store growth sales?
I guess it depends on the industry. There are some industries or some businesses which have double-digit growth, but there are some which does not. And I guess it depends on what you are doing and whether the product that is in question is in demand. If the product or services are in demand, I guess there is no problem about expansion.
How much of allocations do you provide for the franchising businesses that you have?
In average per year, we would allocate between 30 to 40 million a year on franchise. I think that's the figure that we have on franchise for now. As I said, as you mentioned just now, everything that we do is self-sustainable. It has to be internal funding. So we would have to look at our books and how much we can allocate for the industry per se.
On average, how much are you able to chalk return from these investments that you have?
In totality, for all our investments, may it be franchise, property, or equity, we look at an average of return of about 7% random.
Maybe you could shed some light as to what franchise companies that you have brought into Malaysia and expand under PNS table, some well-known ones.
Currently, we only have one brand, which is basically run by us. And currently, we're running the Gloria Jeans Coffee. And this is a franchise concept which we acquired the rights for Malaysia. It's an Australian brand, and we are the master franchisee for Malaysia. We are the master franchisee for Indonesia, Myanmar, and Brunei, for now.
How has the sales so far been in Malaysia and all these emerging markets that you have?
If you look at it for the last 5 years, we have grown, and I think currently we have more than 50 outlets in totality. Whether we are going to expand further, that depends on the need to expand.